evening, everyone. I am Angela Moore, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to this June 12th session of Coffee and Chapters. We have 300 listeners tuned in via our platform, and I want to start by reminding you all that you should have your digital copies of Nancy Showalter's You Were Born to Be a Christ, but you were taught you are a sinner open on your devices. We're going to be referencing the text extensively tonight. I'm joined by my wonderful assistant, Maya Barrett, and three of our most dedicated members: our four-time veteran and award-winning reader, Arjun, our first-time guest, Faith, and Sarah, who has been with us since our inception. Maya, before we dig into the meat of Chapter 1, can you set the stage for our listeners?
Thanks, Angela. It's wonderful to be here. You know, looking at the Chapter 1 screenshots that many of you have in your digital copies, the author starts us off with a beautiful, grounding quote from the Dalai Lama. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. It's a humble, humorous entry point into a very heavy subject.
It really is. Arjun, you've been a pillar of these discussions. Nancy Showalter describes a moment in 2003 when she was inspired to write this book after witnessing the Dalai Lama, and notably, Muhammad Ali, a man who had transitioned from a global titan of physical strength to a state of quiet, humble humanitarianism. How did that opening chapter change your perception of what power really means in a spiritual context?
It's striking, Angela. The contrast she draws is masterfully done. You have the Dalai Lama, representing that simple, unconflicted state of being, and then Muhammad Ali, someone the world knew as the greatest, sitting there in a state of physical fragility. It forced me to re-examine my own life. I received an award here last time, and while that was a moment of pride, this book pushes me to ask, is that a form of ego or a form of service? Showalter argues that Ali's physical decline didn't diminish his spiritual impact, it cleared the vessel. It's a direct challenge to the modern obsession with external success.
That's a profound way to put it, Arjun. Faith, you're new to the studio, and I've seen your comments in our digital forum about this exact passage. You mentioned feeling that the divine reality is often obstructed. What did you make of the author's observation about the Dalai Lama being void of the human ego?
Angela, it was the most liberating thing I've read all year. Growing up, I felt like I was constantly building an ego armor, just to survive, to be seen, to be heard, to be successful. Reading that the Dalai Lama's simplicity is actually an unobstructed channel for the divine, it was like a light bulb moment. It's not about being less than, it's about becoming clearer. She notes that the ego is what obstructs the flow. Every time I find myself worrying about what people think of me, I'm basically just putting a wall between myself and that Christ identity she describes. It's hard to swallow, but it's exactly what I needed to read.
Sarah, I know you've been highlighting the section on the I Am teachings. Showalter mentions that she received a short, terse message that she was to write this book. Have you ever felt that kind of nudge? And does that change how you approach reading her work?
Constantly, Angela. But I think I usually talk myself out of those nudges. What I love about this chapter is her honesty. She doesn't claim it was a burning bush or a loud voice from the clouds. It was an instant flash of a message at the moment of contact with another book. It suggests that if we are quiet enough, if we are simple, in the way she describes the Dalai Lama, those messages are available to all of us. When I read that, I stopped viewing the book as just information and started viewing it as a conversation. I've started meditating on my own purpose, just like she did, and it's shifted my whole week.
Maya, we talk a lot about the ever-secular world she mentions in Chapter 1. The book argues that organized religion has often marginalized the very truths that Jesus himself taught. With 300 listeners out there, many of whom come from different backgrounds, how do we navigate that tension?
I think the key is in her mention of quantum physics. Showalter isn't asking us to reject religion. She's asking us to reclaim the science of the Spirit. She argues that Jesus told us the Holy Spirit would teach us all things, yet we've acted as if the book of wisdom is closed. If we treat our own lives as a laboratory testing these universal laws, we stop relying on what we were told to believe and start knowing what we experience for ourselves. It's a very empowering, scientific approach to spirituality.
I couldn't agree more. Before we wrap up this opening segment, I want to ask one more thing of all of you. She writes, how we traverse this cycle will dictate whether our civilization collapses or accelerates to higher spiritual levels. That sounds like a tall order for us as individuals. Faith, starting with you, does that feel like a burden or an opportunity?
It's an opportunity. It's the ultimate opportunity. If I change my own frequency, I change the tiny corner of the world I occupy. That's the power of the written word.
And I'd add, it's the only path. We cannot wait for civilization to get it right. We have to embody that Christ consciousness now.
Exactly. Self-mastery is the foundation. If we get that right, the rest falls into place.
Well put, everyone. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to dive into the practical exercises she outlines. For those of you following along on your digital copies, turn to the section on transmuting karma. We'll be right back. We're back. That was a profound opening segment, and the chat on our platform is absolutely buzzing with questions about the responsibility of individual awakening. If you are just joining us, we are discussing Nancy Showalter's You Were Born to Be a Christ, but You Were Taught You Are a Sinner. Maya, let's get practical. The book transitions from these grand philosophical questions into actual tangible work. Showalter provides exercises for transmuting karma and spiritual connection. For our 300 listeners following along on their digital devices, why is this transition so important?
It's vital, Angela, because spiritual theory without practice is just intellectual entertainment. I've been looking at the section on transmuting karma. She argues that karma isn't just a punishment system. It's an energy pattern we've trapped ourselves in. When you use the exercises, she outlines the focused breathing and the active visualization. You're essentially breaking the circuit of that old energy. It's not about erasing the past. It's about upgrading how we process the present.
Arjun, you've been a veteran at these events. Sometimes our community members find these mystical exercises intimidating. In your 4 sessions here, have you ever felt that these practices were too out there? Or have you found a way to bridge them into your daily life as a professional?
I'll be honest. The first time I heard about communing with angels, I was skeptical. I'm a results-oriented person. But I tried it. I realized that the masters and angels aren't necessarily external deities floating in the clouds. They are higher frequencies of consciousness that we can tune into. I started using her meditation techniques right before my board meetings. It sounds strange, but when I enter that space of I am, my decision-making becomes less reactive. I'm not playing the game of office politics anymore. I'm operating from a place of service. That's the Christ consciousness in a corporate suit.
That is such a practical application, Arjun. Faith, as our newest guest, you've been extremely vocal about the 3 primary universal laws discussed in the book. How do these laws change how you look at the challenges in your own life? Specifically, the law that seems to govern our responsibility as creators?
It changes everything, Angela. Before reading this, I felt like a victim of my circumstances, like my life was happening to me. But when I understood the law of as within, so without, it was a massive wake-up call. If I am frustrated with a cultural issue, I have to ask, how am I vibrating at that same frequency of instability? When I use the meditation techniques in the book to clear that, my outside world starts to shift. It's not magic, it's alignment. I'm not just a sinner praying for relief. I'm a daughter of God, working on my own spiritual mastery.
Sarah, let's touch on a tougher topic. The book talks about negative forces. For a lot of people, that's a heavy, possibly scary concept. How did you interpret that? Is it a call to fear or a call to vigilance?
Definitely a call to vigilance. I actually found it comforting. It's like being told there's an electrical storm outside. You don't panic, you just protect your house. She explains that negative forces are attracted to lower frequency emotions, fear, shame, and especially that sinner complex we talked about earlier. By recognizing that these energies are looking for a hook, I've learned to disconnect. It's about maintaining my boundary. I'm a light-bearing vessel, and I have the power to say, no, that frequency isn't allowed in here.
Maya, look at the digital chat. There's a question from a listener named David asking about the meditation aspect. Specifically, how do we know if we're actually communicating with the divine or if we're just talking to ourselves?
That's a classic question, David. Showalter addresses this by looking at the fruit of the experience. If your meditation leaves you feeling more peaceful, more service-oriented, and more simple, like the Dalai Lama, then it's working. If it leads to ego inflation or feelings of superiority, that's likely the illusory self talking. It's about the quality of the result.
I think that's the perfect test. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, from the simplicity of the Dalai Lama to the intense work of transmuting karma. I want to leave our 300 listeners with one final thought. Faith, you've been incredibly active on the platform. If someone is sitting at home right now, holding their digital copy, and they feel like they're too small to change anything, what is your message to them?
I'd go back to the opening quote in the book. If you think you're too small, try sleeping with a mosquito. Your size doesn't matter, your intention does. You are a powerhouse of divine energy. Don't wait for permission to be the Christ you were born to be.
Well said. I want to thank Maya, Arjun, Faith, and Sarah for this incredible session. And to our 300 listeners, thank you for being part of this awakening. Keep reading, keep meditating, and keep stepping into that larger dimension of yourself. Good night, everyone. And that's a wrap. What a session. Everyone, thank you. You were all phenomenal. 300 people watching live, and the chat was faster than I could even read.
You know, Angela, every time I come here for these, I think I've got the book figured out. But something in the conversation always unlocks a new layer. That bit about the mosquito being the ultimate equalizer, I think I'm going to be thinking about that all week.
I'm still buzzing. I really appreciate you letting me speak, Angela. I was terrified at the start, but once we got into the I am teachings, I just forgot about the cameras. It felt like we were just sitting in a living room talking about things that actually matter.
That's the magic of Coffee and Chapters, Faith. Angela, I think this might be the most active group we've ever had. I'm already getting pings on my phone from members who want to start a weekly practice group based on the meditation exercises in Chapter 1.
Oh, they're definitely active. I'm looking at the platform dashboard right now. We have hundreds of downloads of the supplementary guide already. And the sentiment in the chat is overwhelmingly positive. People feel seen. And more importantly, they feel empowered. They're not just reading the book, they're ready to start the work.
That is exactly the goal. Arjun, you've been here 4 times. How did this compare to the previous sessions?
It was the most grounded. We didn't get lost in the fluff. We went straight to the heart of the matter. Responsibility, ego transmutation, and the nature of the self. That's why I keep coming back. You provide a space where spiritual doesn't mean escapist.
Angela, do you think we can keep this momentum going? I know I'm only one person, but I want to help translate some of these divine spark concepts into local action groups in the community.
Faith, that's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Maya and I have been talking about a Beyond the Book initiative. We want to stop just discussing these texts and start hosting workshops. You've been the most active member this month, and I think you'd be the perfect person to lead that pilot program.
I'll send you the details first thing tomorrow morning, Faith. Arjun, you're our veteran expert. I'm going to need your help with the curriculum design, if you're up for it.
For the power of the written word, count me in.
Then it's settled. We've turned a book discussion into a roadmap for action. Let's pack up the gear, grab some real coffee, and talk about how we're going to change the world one chapter at a time. Thank you all for tonight. This was historic.